This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, I'm Sabrina Brown. Thank you for joining us. The search is on for a retired police officer reported missing today. His disappearance leaving more questions than answers. Joan Davis-Roll reports.
She just told me, feel like everybody is giving up on him.
Yvonne Pearson is living a nightmare. Her husband of 38 years disappeared Monday evening and has been reported missing.
We received a report that a well-known ex-police officer, Frank Pearson, he's been missing. As a result, I have put a team together, and as you can see, we are here searching the immediate area, the bushes, and we intend to put a few teams together so that we can do an extensive search. We intend to search the immediate area, and we want to take our search as far as Barbary Beach.
Now, police say the search for Frank Pearson began around 9 o'clock Monday night and resumed early Tuesday morning. It was then that they intensified their efforts, taking their search by land and by sea.
The officers walking the area. We have extended the search by way of the marine section, the police boat. We have police officers by way of sea search the canal. And of course, there are two separate canals within the immediate area. And the officers did extensive searches in both canals so that we want to be satisfied that we've done whatever we can.
Pearson recalled the last time she saw her husband and how she tried to bring comfort to his troubled mind.
I came home yesterday afternoon. Frank was really depressed, extremely depressed. And we talked for a while, and he had spoken to two doctors, and both of them really, I guess he just felt when he was finished, he just told me, feel like everybody is giving up on him. And we talked a bit longer. I went and I lied down. I went to bed. And when I got up around, that would have been about 9 o'clock last night, I didn't see him, and the lights on the outside were off. When I came in the front, and I realized that his keys, his cell phone, his watch, everything was on the kitchen table. And I said, I know I didn't leave Frank in the bed with me. I was sure he wasn't in there, but I went back and looked anyway. And of course, he wasn't there.
She recalled how her husband struggled with depression.
It started several days ago. He was diagnosed with cancer, and he did chemotherapy. And then, last year, our son got killed in a traffic accident in Nassau. And that's what really brought everything down.
Now, ZNS News has been reliably informed that prior to his disappearance, Frank Pearson reached out to two local doctors for help. One reportedly advised him to check himself into the dire ward at the Rand Memorial Hospital, and the other told him their appointment book was full. Meanwhile, Mrs. Pearson, senior mistress at St. George's High School, says she's grateful for the outpouring support, especially her school family, for springing into action.
We found out this morning, as soon as we got to school, we got things settled, came down here, found out what was going on, and brought some kids here from our GGYA. These kids have a number of years experience in GGYA. They know the bushes, they know what it is to camp out and go through the bushes. So right now they're assisting the police with their search. We got the police permission to use them, and it's only about 15 of them.
Now, as the search continues for Frank Pearson, his wife is making this appeal.
I'd like to ask if anybody has seen him, to please call the police and let them know.
Joan Davis-Roll, ZNS Network News.
Now, police have issued an all-points bulletin for information on the whereabouts of retired police officer Frank Laban Pearson. Police say 65-year-old Pearson has dark brown complexion, heavy build, is about 6 feet tall, weighs 240 pounds, and has brown eyes. He was last seen in the Pine Bay area on Monday evening. If you have seen Frank Laban Pearson or have any information on his whereabouts, you are asked to contact police at 352-1919, 351-9111, 350-3089, or 911. For a Dominican man charged before the court with illegal landing. Immigration officials say the Dominicans were found hiding out in bushes in the Tynes Bay area on Sunday evening. The 4 men pled guilty to the charge of illegal landing and were each fined $300 and sentenced to serve 1 month in jail. If they are not able to pay the fine, they will spend an additional month. The court ordered that the Dominicans be deported upon completing their prison term. The Dominicans claim that they came to the Bahamas by boat and each spent $5,000 to be smuggled to the United States. Meanwhile, 20 illegal Haitian immigrants taken into custody in West End. Reports say law enforcement officers were notified around 2 o'clock this morning that a group had just landed. Immigration and police officers went to the area and found them hiding out in bushes. The 13 males, 6 females, and a minor reportedly left Haiti on board a boat some 8 days ago and arrived on Grand Bahama on Monday evening. According to reports, the boat then took on another Haitian man before leaving from the area of Taino Beach. Now, the migrants claim that they were at sea for about 4 hours last night before approaching land and that the captain told them they had arrived at their destination. The group charged that they each paid $5,000 for the trip to the United States. The migrants were transported to the Immigration Department here in Freeport for processing and will be transported to New Providence to await repatriation. Reports say the Florida registered vessel was later found tied to a dock on the northern side of the road in West End. In other news, a Grand Bahama family experiencing a nightmare as they try to bring down the cost of their electricity. Tonight, they are sounding the alarm and sending a warning to other homeowners. Their aim was to reduce their power bill, but instead they ended up with a higher bill and additional expenses.
We bought a solar system back in May. We hired a local contractor and paid him $22,000 for a solar system. It was the understanding that everything except for our air condition was going to be powered by solar system. For the first 45 days, everything went fine until we got the power bill. And the power bill actually went up from the previous period on a solar system.
Homeowner Bernadette Johnson says the solar system, which was installed in June, never worked, and their electricity bill went from around $700 prior to installing the solar panels to over $800 after purchasing the solar system. So they asked the contractor to remove the system, and they also requested a refund, but Bernadette says he refused.
And so we brought in someone else. And he said, he came back and he said the system isn't wired properly, it's not installed properly. And so what he would have to do then is uninstall the system and reinstall it again in exchange for $5,000 more. So we paid him the $5,000, and when he was done, at the end of the day, all we noticed was that he put up 2 flimsy looking solar panels and a different brand of battery. Needless to say, when he tried to put the system on, it wouldn't even come on.
Bernadette says they had to spend an additional $5,000 to build a shed to house the batteries for the solar system. But that's not all. The Johnsons incurred some other challenges.
We found out about a week after we asked him to leave our home that he left our electrical ungrounded. So someone had to come in. And I mean, we're just lucky that we didn't have an electrical fire. He just left it just like that. You know, my concern is these people are taking your money and they don't know what they're doing.
She has this advice for other homeowners.
Make sure these guys know what they're doing. Speak to people who they've done work for. Don't let them tell you who they've done work for. Speak to those persons yourself to find out if it worked. Look at what it is you want, and compare that to whatever the other person have.
The Johnsons have confirmed that the original contractor in this case is a licensee of the Grand Bahama Port Authority. They are now preparing to take legal action. Meantime, the Grand Bahama Power Company says its emergency preparedness plan is in place and will be activated if the need arises. While the Atlantic hurricane season has been uneventful so far, power company officials say they are ready for any eventuality. Megan Shepard fills us in.
Vice President of Generations and Engineering Whitney Hasty says while there have been no hurricanes for the 2014 season, customers should have seen improvements during recent thunder and lightning storms. He says thanks to recent upgrades, the power is more likely to remain on during bad weather.
People would recognize that they are, and surprisingly reporting, that thunderstorms come and the power supply and the grid stays intact. And so it's all because of the improvements that we have made, and it really ties back to what we said several years ago, in as much as we wanted to bring more reliable power, which meant that there would be less blackouts to our customers, and that's what they're seeing today.
Hasty says in the event of a hurricane and the power does go out, the company has implemented a plan to ensure that power is restored in a timely manner.
One of the things that we also invested in was going out and actually mapping every pole and wire on our main transmission system. And what that allows us to do is to really understand our system, where are the strong and weak points in our system. And not only have we done that once, but we also have a system now whereby every time we go in and we touch a component or piece of equipment, we actually update the drawings so that we recognize what is the latest and greatest that we have put out there and what is the time it's going to take before it fails, and mitigate it through our preventative maintenance program so that we can get to it before it fails and prevent further blackouts.
Hasty says another reliability improvement is their ongoing training of employees. He says they focus on three aspects, one being from the plant perspective, where employees go through a 5-month program to enhance their knowledge and to keep them on the cutting edge of new equipment.
The second thing is we actually have a mentoring program with our sister companies whereby individuals can come in and we can actually send individuals, which we are actively engaged in, and give them the opportunity to see how other utilities are performing, and then they can bring that back to Grand Bahama Power. In addition to having some of the employees from our sister company here on the ground who can be teaching the same time of some of the ways that they actually run their system and can increase the reliability. And then the third thing is the competency-based training program.
Megan Shepard, 7S Network News.
Stay with us. There's more news after this.
Bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The Minister of Social Services responding to concerns expressed by a local medical practitioner. The local doctor is adamant that more must be done to prevent teenage pregnancy, and he says the powers that be must do more to hold the men involved accountable. Megan Shepard has the minister's views on the issue.
Minister for Social Services, the Honorable Melanie Griffin, commending the PACE Center both in the nation's capital and here in Grand Bahama for the work they do in assisting teen mothers. Minister Griffin noting that PACE has been a strong force when it comes to providing prenatal training and allowing the pregnant teens to continue their education.
PACE has really provided a training center, a health center, and really to ensure that they continue their education, so that they can move forward and become productive citizens. And so the program, the PACE program, is really extremely important.
Now recently on ZNS News, a noted OBGYN that works along with the PACE Center insisted that if the older men that are involved with the teenagers are punished, then that will act as a major deterrent in teenage pregnancies. Minister Griffin isn't agree with this position.
If they are victims of sexual abuse by older men, we must be able to get those cases before the courts and have those persons prosecuted. That is a must. And I think the more we see of that, the less we'll see of the sexual abuse of our minors.
On a more positive note, Minister Griffin says that national statistics show that teen pregnancy has decreased.
In fact, statistics provided by the Department of Statistics that over the years, the numbers of teen mothers have been reducing. But still yet, we know that, the numbers that we do have are still too many. And so we have to do all that we can to provide assistance to them so that they can move forward with their lives, move forward with their education.
Minister Griffin also adding that society must remember that these mothers are still just teenagers and should be handled with care. She says they must be encouraged to lead productive lives after teenage pregnancy.
An imperative, a work that is very imperative if we are to show teen mothers that because you have gotten pregnant in school don't mean your life stops, but we don't want you to do it again. And so that is also a part of the program to see that it doesn't happen again, but also that you are able to go on with your education and really to become a productive life. And they have many examples of young women who have been very successful after having a teen pregnancy.
Megan Shepard, 7S Network News.
The demand for leadership skills is increasing. This according to business consultant Billy Bowe. The president of Benchmark Consulting Services says managers need to be more efficient and effective, and Benchmark is seeking to meet this need through the establishment of a leadership institute.
That is something that we've envisioned and planned out for many years. It's been a part of our plan to open up a leadership institute here in Grand Bahama where persons can come and not only utilize the e-learning at our premises where we'll have computers available so they can use it, because not everybody has a computer. And then also we're going to be doing training at our location. Leadership is the key, because leadership entails communication. It entails how to be more productive, how to be, a resource manager, being able to understand, okay, I only have this amount of money, how am I going to be able to budget and plan?
But she says the company is focused on much more. She says Benchmark is working to help put unemployed Bahamians back to work.
We're also going to be doing full-blown outsourcing and staffing and helping people find jobs. And in fact, I get a lot of emails from people who are looking for work. And I want that because at some point, I want to be able to pass these resumes on to companies that are looking for good people. But we do vet and we do check. So when we do send someone out there, we are confident that they have the skill set to do the job.
After a year-long hiatus, the Church of the Ascension is gearing up for its spelling competition. Set for October 26th, the Spelling Bee is open to all of the primary schools on Grand Bahama, and an invitation has been extended to other schools in the north. Rector at the church, Father Michael Giddens, believes the competition is a great exercise for youngsters.
They have always been a huge support and encouragement for this. That helps in terms of their own objectives, in terms of providing opportunities for our young people to grow and to blossom. And they have done over and above all they can do to assist to make sure that this is not only a successful event, but that they do their part in terms of assisting to make sure that this event happens.
The competition is open to students between the ages of 8 and 13, and prizes will be awarded to the top 3 students. This time around, the Rotary Club of Sunset is partnering with the church to pull off a successful event.
I think we've always extended to Sweden Ski, but it was because part of Grand Bahama. This year we have extended it to Abaco. Abaco and Bimini are part of our Anglican Northern Archdeaconry, and so we're trying now to involve our whole Archdeaconry as part of the Anglican district, including them as part of the activity, the Spelling Bee Challenge. So it's not just limited to Grand Bahama, we're now spreading it to Abaco and hopefully on to Bimini by next year.
And that's a look at news, but don't go away. Sports is up next with Ricardo Lightborn.
Hey everybody, welcome to Sports and Ricardo Lightborn. Tonight, this one's been dedicated to my bud over there in Bimini, Wayne Block Cox. Hey, your sis says you better behave yourself. Well, the track of the Grand Bahama Sports Complex was a hot spot on the weekend. No national records were set, but guess what? The work of nation building was in place. This is not your regular track and field meet at the Grand Bahama Sports Complex. No, this is the Northern Bahamas Archdeaconry Anglican Church's Track and Field Championship, and what a track meet at that. It's not a matter of speed, it's a matter of participation and knowing you did. This is what you call leaving it all on the track. With the church pride and a story to tell, those stories will be many and sore muscles to show for it. Bishop Leish Boyd on hand for the occasion. The Legends Marching Band sharing in the celebration, and for good reason. Dr. Cecil Thompson is the honoree of the track meet.
But Cecil Thompson is also a family man who is committed to those values, to his wife Barbara, to children and grandchildren. He is also a community person, for we can say that in so many areas of the community outside of the church and the school, if you could possibly imagine anything outside of the church and school, he has contributed in so many ways. And all of these things, I believe, make him not just a consummate individual, but a most appropriate person to dedicate this meet to.
A very special moment for Mrs. Barbara Thompson. Mr. Thompson was taken by the gesture and appreciation.
I'd like to say on behalf of my wife, children, grandchildren, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations, Mr. Thompson, as you receive your accolades while you are alive. Like a trooper jumping right in the celebration with the Legends Marching Band. St. Jude's regained their title on the track this year. The Abaco churches were second, and Christ the King had to settle for third. And Anglican Sports Meet was actually a unifying event in many ways. The director of youth in the Anglican Churches, Tiffany Hall Sweeting, came in from New Providence for the meet and spoke to the task of actually keeping our youth in the country in sports and on the right track.
The athletic side of the Anglican Diocesan Youth Department is to reach out to all young people in the diocese, from infancy to the womb to the tomb. And one of our missions is to be able to reach out to young people, not just church young people, but the unchurched. We try to use sports as an avenue to reach out to young people who are not so involved in the church. And so using sports, we are able to recruit them and to bring them into the church, and then we bring into the spiritual aspect of the young person.
And the director of sports, Arthur Thompson Jr., said the youth of the nation is the wealth of the nation, and he says we're not going to give up on them just yet.
See, a lot of things are going on in this country and society today that we have to use our kids' talents and their treasures together and to come out to do things positive. But see, there ain't no hope, ain't no hope lost in our kids. You know, a lot of them are there that could run, but they actually have no home, no one to treat them, show them some love. So we go out there and go in the communities and help we can do. And as Tiffany said, this is the 4th year that we're doing this in Freeport, and the 9th year in the back in Nassau. We honor Mr. Dr. Thompson today, and in Nassau, October 24th, 25th, we'll be honoring Hawk Finlayson, another pioneer who gave back in the society, community, and this country in sports, and helping young people that deserve to do better.
And yeah, those guys had an awful lot of fun over there as well, so we'll let you know how that all pans out as far as the track and field meet is concerned. Well, the Grand Bahama Softball Association Championships are on the diamond at the GBE Sports Complex. Ladies crossed the line in the opener. The Candies Wolverines took a one-game advantage in the game 2 against the Portside Flyers and looking for the win. The Wolverines with a good stick and a base hit to left center field, good base running, and in scoring position on the miscues by the Flyers. The Wolverines also played small ball, the perfect bunt, heads up play by the defense, but the run will score for the Candies Wolverines. Softball is a game of hits, runs, and errors, and the Wolverines had its fair share of those errors in this one. Portside, feeling the pinch, took the action right to the Wolverines, and the bats came to life. Okay, you want more small ball? Good bunt here. The Wolverines simply got caught flat-foot and the RBI on this one. Did I mention the Wolverines committed a buggy load of errors, enough as Portside Flyers won Game 2 4-1, and the series now tied up at 1 game all. In the men's series, Pat's uniform Reds gave the controlled chemical sweepers fits in Game 2, just like in Game 1. The sweepers hurler Quentin Cooper was all over the place. This wild pitch gave up a run to the Reds. It just continues to go downhill for controlled chemicals. This time the shortstop playing soccer with the softball. You want more? Okay, the chopper to third base. That's another error and 11-3 lead for the Reds. Control Chemical Sweepers did not show up for this one, and the Pats uniform Reds took control and got the win. A 2-game advantage in this series. They'll play Game 3 on Wednesday. Who knows if they'll show up? High school volleyball for you in the Oriole Knowles Rosina Nesbitt League. Sister Mary Patricia Russell Junior Boys defeating Sunland 21-12 and 21-17. In the BFS Warriors down Egmont Rock 21-16 and 16. Tabernacle Senior Boys over Mary Star Academy 22-20 and also 21-11. BMS over Egmont Rock 22-20 and 21-11. And St. George's getting by Sunland 21-8 and also 21-17. Now the Grand Bahama Volleyball Association also got in a couple games for you as well. The Bakers Boys defeating the Grand Bahama Shipyard Cruisers 20-25, 25-19, and 15-7. These are all co-ed games as BMS Warriors put away Freeport Shipyard Services Thunder 25-19 and 25-16. Bay Stars defeated the BUT Bulldogs 25-14 and 25-20. The action continues tonight. Pleasant All-Stars. They're going to be playing Youth in Action Ladies Opener, and also the BSR Mustangs will play the Defenders. Should be a pretty good night. St. George's Gym. Go by and check it out. Again, the block down there in Bimini, buddy, behave yourself, okay? It is your day, and congratulations. Let's look at your sports tonight.